Call to order. I will call to order the special meeting of the Central Oregon Community College Board of Directors for January 22nd, 2025. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I think you know the purpose of this meeting. I'm going to start with our land acknowledgement. COCC would like to acknowledge that the beautiful land our campuses reside on are the original homelands of the Wasco and the Warm Springs people. They ceded this land to the U.S. government in the Treaty of 1855. The Paiute people were forcibly moved to the Warm Springs Indian Reservation starting in 1879. It's also important to note that the Klamath Trail ran north through this region to the Great Celilo Falls trading grounds, and the Klamath tribes claim it as their own. Descendants of these original people are thriving members of our communities today. We acknowledge and thank the original stewards of this land. May we have a roll call, please, Lucas?
Laura Fresca Cooper.
Here.
Erica Scapel.
Here.
Aaron Foot-Morgan.
Here.
Joe Krenwitz.
Yes.
Aaron Mertz.
Here.
Alan Ungden.
Here.
And Jim Porter, I know is logging on, but I have not seen him yet.
Excellent,
So,
thank
but I will
you.
let you know.
Excellent. Are there any agenda changes that anyone has? Nope, okay. So as of about an hour ago, we had no public comment. Has that changed, Lucas?
No.
Okay. So we will move to Board of Directors Operations. We are going to talk, before we adjourn the executive session, we are going to discuss the candidate interview procedures, just so that everybody's on the same page and we don't have, this, if we walk through it, then we don't have weird stalls and look disorganized. So I wrote out a few things so I wouldn't forget to tell y'all. So first, I will go through the procedures in a minute, but I wanted to let you know a couple things for us, for our conduct of this interview. So we are going to have the opportunity to ask the predetermined questions that everyone submitted and Eric and I assembled. But we're also going to have some time when we can ask follow-up questions of our original questions, or that we can ask candidate specific questions based on their resume. So what I would ask is, when we get to that interview part of the question, don't just throw out your questions. What I'll do is I'll start at Aaron's side and just go around and give everybody the chance to ask a question during that time. And then when we're done with that, if anybody has another question, please just raise your hand or call my attention to you. And, time permitting, we'll absolutely let more questions, allow more questions. Also, for the same thing or on a related note, when we go through the interview, because the candidates have 15 questions to get through in about 50 minutes, they need to do about 3 minutes per question. By the way, we did 2 to 2.5 on the search advisory committee, and it worked just fine. So they could do it if they pace themselves. And so please don't follow up if you feel like they didn't answer the question that you asked. Save it for the follow-up and follow up then. And same thing if you hear someone else's question and think it wasn't answered. Erica, I believe, is still willing to be the timekeeper. She likes that stuff. Okay, and then when we get to so please don't engage in all the back and forth, and we'll get to the end. When the candidate asks questions of us, please don't all jump in again, so we don't talk over each other. So just let me know if you'd like to answer the question, because I will look immediately. And the first person who's like, I'll take that, I'm going to let you do it. Okay. So let me know if you would like to answer the question. And if someone else then wants to supplement, absolutely fine. We want to make sure that the candidates get a thorough answer from as many perspectives as possible. If it's a question worth asking, then we should give them a good answer. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I'm going to tell the candidate is that we will all introduce ourselves when we ask the first question, but our introduction will simply be our names. And if we would like to list our preferred pronouns. We don't need to do an introduction of like our background or anything, because the candidates have all been given our bios from the website. And I know at least 2 of them have done research on all of us. So they're going to know a little bit about us. They're going to get 90 minutes total. There'll be 3 minutes to get settled in and for me to explain the procedure. There'll be about 2 minutes for them to introduce themselves. Then it'll be the 50 minutes for the 15 questions. And each of you has 2 questions that are assigned to you. If we can't get Jim on the Zoom, can I get maybe I could ask the 2 Aarons, if you guys wouldn't mind, each to answer to ask one of Jim's questions, just in case. Okay.
Great, and I'll take,
Okay, and then Erica's gonna keep time. She'll let the candidate know when we're halfway through, and if they seem to be getting behind, she did the same process before, it worked great. Then we'll leave about 25 to 30 minutes for the board to ask follow-up questions or specific questions as we discussed. And then we'll leave about 3 minutes for the candidate to do a final statement, and then there'll be 1 minute for me to explain the process after the campus visit concludes. And that'll be just that we're hosting 2 more finalists. After that, we'll meet to get blah, 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 and I'll just run through that quickly. And then I have 2 questions to ask at the end, which is the one question you guys know, is there anything in your background that could, if it were to become public knowledge, become a negative distraction for the college or reflect poorly upon the college I'm trying to talk to you about, sorry. And then the second one is, if you were offered the job now, knowing what you know so far, would you accept the job? And then we'll mention that we'll see them tonight and we'll be having dinner. So that's kind of how we'll go through it. That's the process, and that's what I'll explain to the candidate when they first come in. Does that work? Any questions, any concerns, any?
no, that's great. Well thought through and good plan. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. I think the next thing is just before 11:15, when the candidate's gonna be here, we'll go into executive session.
12:15,
Pardon?
12:15,
What'd I say?
11.
Oh, thank you.
She's timekeeping already.
Take the job seriously.
Looking, make sure I haven't gotten it. Oh, Jim says he's in the Zoom.
There should be a waiting room. Yeah, it's not, there's no waiting room. I sent the wrong link.
So, Kyle, what I just read is written down too. Would you mind, since Jim apparently didn't hear it, would you mind scanning this to him just so that he can read it?
That link. You good? Yeah, I'll try soon. Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. For anyone who wasn't in the room before, apparently Jim's got a pretty bad respiratory problem and he does not want to make us sick, and he's having trouble, I guess, not coughing and such, so.
There is something nasty going around. That's what went through my house with both my children, so, and it's like 2 to
I was
3
gonna say it was a
weeks
long
long.
time, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Nobody wants it.
Trying to get the RSV vaccine. Not old enough.
You're not old.
What?
No,
Well,
Hey,
that's
Ralph?
that's exciting.
I'm not 75, I will be, but I heard it much enough. Oh, it looks like he's in now.
Pardon?
Looks like he's in now. Jim, can you hear us? Jim, can you hear us okay?
Thanks, Kyle. We deeply and irrationally offended by lettuce on a sandwich. What I love selling.
What's your unpopular opinion for today?
That's my unpopular take for the day.
Hey, Jim, can you hear us?
Look at, he's not very close. There we go. Oh, there. He wasn't there until just a second. Now you might ask him.
Jim, can you hear us?
Oh, boy.
There's a rising commercial. Jim, can you hear us?
He said he's having audio problems. He's restarting it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right there.
Well,
Well, we can't feel too bad. They still have audio and visual challenges at the inauguration Mondays.
well, nice, and they're wonderful. But they make mistakes sometimes.
That's their opportunity to grow.
Put
And
yourself out there
our
and then go with it,
Mistakes are very
which is
visible
good.
when they are made.
Well, no, I didn't vote for it.
No, but
Just
it
make
was
one.
helped.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, Jenny.
Yeah.
Was it Jenny?
It was Jenny. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
anyway, just-
I don't know how this happened.
Well, we all make them,
No,
right?
sorry.
I would think you were a reasonable guy though.
Yeah.
It's time, it's your opportunity as a leader to teach and.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
You have like
If
4
I
minutes.
invite them.
Oh, she sent me
You piece of bread,
Mhm.
crunchy cubed.
Hey, Jim,
bread.
can you hear us okay?
As a lawyer, you learn to be precise. As a mother of teenagers, you learn to be more
Well,
precise.
you guys, can we just,
Jim, can you hear us okay?
You always thought I couldn't hit her. You didn't say I couldn't kick her.
Jim, try again. Jim, can you say something?
Well, he's unmuted.
Yep.
So-
Jim, one more time. Okay. There you are.
Hey, there
Now
we
we
go.
can, you hear us?
Nope, so it must be on my end.
Yeah, it is on your end then.
Okay, flip.
I'm gonna just be really basic here, and walk you through a couple things, all right?
Sure.
Want to mute him for me just for a second with this?
Is, he having trouble with the video?
I think he's having trouble with the video and the audio,
Oh, okay.
but I think the video is fine now.
Oh,
He-
so
he
what
was
I
just-
heard,
He was just having trouble getting on in general.
Jim, give us a shout.
Wait a minute.
One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
all right. Chief Porter, welcome.
Sure. Sorry, guys. I'm just coughing and hacking. I thought I got some medication. I thought I could get over it. I got out to my truck and started coughing and hacking so bad. I just,
No worries, no worries. We can make this work.
Yeah.
So, Jim, two things. Do you have the questions, right? I sent them last night.
yeah.
Okay, and number two, do you, have the piece of paper that, Kyle just, well, 2 pages that Kyle just sent you? It's the sort of order of procedures for today that I wrote out, and then I just read it to the rest of the board and to the public, because we're in open session right now.
I'm printing that as we speak.
Okay, if you could just peruse that while we do the, while I read the executive session script and get us into executive session, and then we'll bring Dr. Toss in. And if you have any questions, send me a text because I've got my cell phone here and I'll repeat it to the whole group.
Okay, and question is, am I gonna be required to ask some questions at some point?
Oh, yes, you are listed for 2 questions, but if you would prefer, each of Aaron Mers and Aaron Foot Morgan have agreed to ask one of your 2 questions if you prefer not to ask a question.
Yeah, I hate to get into a question and start coughing like a maniac. I mean, these coughs come out of nowhere.
Yeah, we thought that might be the case, so they're prepared, they got you. So what I'll just ask is that you let us know when we get to the general question period, if you have any questions you'd like to ask, or if you'd like to text a question to me, I will ask it for you. And then at least you can listen and you'll be up to speed when we deliberate on the 8th.
Perfect. Sounds great, guys. Thank you very much.
Perfect, yeah, no worries.
Hope
Get
you feel
better,
better.
yeah. Okay, we are now, I believe, ready to go into executive session and then we will bring Dr. Toss in. So I would like to start by closing the public session and opening the executive session by saying the COCC Board of Directors will now meet in executive session for the purpose of ORS 192-660, Section 2, subsection A, to consider hiring an employee, specifically the president. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the boardroom. Noemi, since you are the only media person here, I just want to, you understand okay, great. Thank you, appreciate it.
So I'm stopping the recording.
You are stopping the recording.
But we'll keep Zoom on so Jim can see here. Participate.
We will keep Zoom on. And now we will have